Sir.
John sir,
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we start, sir?
start பண்ணலாம் sir.
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, sir. So good morning, everyone. On behalf of Department of Computer Science, Vistas, I, K. Parvatavardhini, Assistant Professor from the Department of Computer Science, take this opportunity to welcome our speaker, professors, and the participants to the national webinar on recent trends on cybersecurity, organized by the Department of Computer Science, Vistas. And we have privilege to have with us an expert, Dr. S. Justin Thangaraj, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Saveetha School of Engineering. And we would like to extend our profound gratitude towards our respected founder and chancellor, Dr. Aishari Ganesh, and Pro-Chancellor Planning and Development, Dr. A. Jyoti Murugan, and Pro-Chancellor Academics, Dr. Arti Ganesh, and Vice President, Ms. Preeta Ganesh. And we wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Teeman Narayanan, Registrar, Dr. P. Saravanan, and COE, Dr. A. Uday Kumar. We render our sincere gratitude to our backbone, Dr. S. Perumal sir, Associate Professor and Head, and all the professors of Department of Computer Science. It will be a pleasure to invite Dr. A. S. Arunachalam, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science, Vistas, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning to all. I welcome our beloved HOD sir and faculty members of computer science and my dear students for this national webinar. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome our honorable speaker Dr. S. John Justin Thangaraj, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Saveetha School of Engineering, Chennai. Today, he will empower your knowledge in the topic of recent trends in cyber security. Cyber security is the protection of internet connected with the system, such as software, hardware, and data from the cyber security. The practice is used by individual and enterprises to protect against unauthorized access to data center and other component system. So the recent trends of cyber security will be detailedly explained by our beloved speaker, Dr. John Justin Thangaraj sir. I thank our management to give this opportunity to welcoming you all. I once again welcome you all for this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to invite Dr. S. Mangayarkarasi, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science, Vistas, to introduce our chief guest of the day.
Very good morning to all. It is my great pleasure to introduce our resource person, Dr. S. John Justin Thangaraj, for today's webinar, Recent Trends on Cyber Security. He has completed his BE Computer Science Engineering from Government College of Engineering, Tirunelveli in the year 2001. And completed his master's degree M.Tech Computer and Information Technology at Manonmaniam Sundarnas University in the year 2007. He has completed his PhD at St. Peter's University in the year 2020. He worked as various institutions, having 18 years of experience in teaching undergraduate and postgraduate courses of computer science and engineering students. He has published 4 patents and published 35 plus journals in national and international level, and also published 10 plus Scopus and SCI journals also. He coordinated AICT sponsored conference with a grant of rupees 1 lakh and AICT sponsored FDP with a grant of 2 lakh, and also coordinated the MHRD sponsored IIT Bombay workshop on DBMS. Currently, he working as a professor, Department of Computer Science, Saveetha School of Engineering, Saveetha Institute of Medical and Technical Sciences, Chennai. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, without further delay, we will turn the time over to the speaker. Sir, now the time is yours.
First of all, I would like to thank the founder, Chancellor sir, and the Vice Chancellor sir, Registrar of the University, and the convener and co-convener of this one-day national webinar. And I'm glad that you have invited me for the resource person for the topic on cyber security. So let me make use of this short time period to give some introduction to the cyber security and how we have to create awareness among the people to away from keep themselves away from the particular cyber issues. So nowadays we are working in the era of internet. Nowadays the deployment of internet of things, they made it is easy for the hackers to get more advantage over the internet uh, functions. So we should know about what is cyberspace, what is the cyber crimes that are happening in and around the world. Then only we can protect ourselves, not only ourselves, our relevant informations and our related institution or industry data spaces from the hackers outside the thing. So before, let me start through what is cyber crime first. So you may be aware of crime. So physically, we will find the criminals in our day-to-day life. But as far as the cyberspace is concerned, it is the crime happened through the internet and happened against the computers, and it may be some part of getting some data or some sensitive informations without the knowledge of the particular owner. So these kind of crimes are nowadays most familiar. You may be aware of day-to-day life. You can hear many news. The data breaches happened in the more popular industries. There are nowadays most of the shopping websites, they are facing some data breaching into their databases. They are losing their informations about their users and customers because they are the most valid informations. They can be the prime factor for the business behind the online marketing. So those kind of crimes are nowadays it's familiar, and this is because of the technology's development as well as the sophistication the people are getting over the internet. So you may be aware of that. Security cannot be provided with the awareness given in the three dimension that are relevant to the particular cyberspace. So it is a multilingual concern to create the cyberspace more secure. So we will go with the introduction about what is cyber crime, what is cyberspace, what is cyber security, how people can get awareness over that particular crimes and all. So you may be aware of the network security. So whenever we are having some systems connected in the network, we are protecting them from the outsiders by using the firewalls and all. So we will keep a perimeter setup to cover our network, and we can make only one entry point to the outside world for connecting to internet. That one entry point can be monitored and streamlined by using the firewalls. But it is not feasible for all the networks to do the same for protecting their internal systems
Sir,
away from. Yes,
sir, sorry for the interruption, sir.
yes, ma'am.
Sir, switch over to presentation mode, sir. It is in first
Presentation.
page only.
It's not toggling, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So it's moving. So let me check. It goes to the second slide. So kindly respond me. Anyone, are you able to see my second slide and third slide? Hello.
No, sir, it is not visible, sir.
Let me come from the beginning. Is it okay, ma'am? I think the full screen configuration is not compatible with the particular streaming.
Sir, you start from beginning, sir. Presentation mode. F5. Press F5, sir.
Yes, for me it's full screen only, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
It is changing or not? Shall I use this one, ma'am?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay, let's the computer's vulnerability. We are designing some systems or some applications in our system or mobile phones. Whenever the applications are having some hole or some vulnerable informations, it is easy for the hackers to enter into our application, and they can view the data which is behind the particular application and all. So nowadays, people prefer to use the technologies which is more comfortable for them. They won't prefer to go with the systems that are having the much secure features. So, for example, we are more comfortable with the operating system Windows, whereas the Linux can provide more amount of secure levels. But people are interested to get the comfortable zone to work on the internet and to work on the particular things. But those comfortable and the sophistications will lead the hackers to enter into your space, and they will try to easily get the data and other information. They will have the control over your machine without your knowledge. So we are frequently installing some applications in mobile app stores. So whenever they are asking for some credential informations and they are asking for some allowing permissions to go through your contacts and go through your internal storage and all, we are letting them to allow come inside our system so that we can easily access that particular applications. So in those scenarios, we are not aware of how much information they are getting from our side. So it leads to the drawback of awareness uh, from the people's side. So we need to understand what kind of laws are enforced against that particular hacking. We should know the things, what are the things that can be uh, given access to the outside people, and how to restrict our privacy, how to restrict the private data from other users. So there are different types of cyber crimes nowadays reported. So you may be aware of the hacking of any particular machine. Usually nowadays the hacking is happen only on the prime servers, because prime servers only they are having the more amount of data. So the hackers are trying to hack the particular domain hosted in a particular server, so that they can get the more amount of informations, and they can get the informations, and they will make some kind of other possible crimes over the cyberspace. Sometimes you may be diverted from your original URL to some other fake URLs like that. Whenever you are trying to download some applications from the internet, it will leads to some advertising notifications. They lead to some other unknown URLs. Okay, when we are trying to enter into that particular unknown URLs, they may ask for some informations. By giving you some fruitful informations on that, you are able to win some prizes and all. We are trying to give some basic informations to them. With those informations, they can do some hijacking. So normally we advise, whenever we are going to make an online transactions, we have to ensure one thing, whether we are working on the corresponding secure URL or not. So usually the web pages are downloaded from the web servers using the hypertext transfer protocol. Whereas the online transactions, they defaultly come up with HTTPS. So here the S represents the secure transaction protocol, where the data transmitted over the internet will be encrypted. Okay, so that the possibility of attackers to get the informations directly is avoided. So those kind of things will be possible only with the correct URLs. Suppose when you are trying to type some misspelled URLs, they lead to some other unknown URLs where you can give the same credentials to those URLs, where they can collect the informations and they will try to hack your account informations. So usually we will try to get a bank transaction. We will blindly go to google.com and search for the things. Okay. So the Google will give you more amount of URLs that related to particular bank. So you are not sure about which URL is original with the particular bank server and which is fake URL and all. So whenever you try to make some online transaction, you ensure whether the HTTPS protocol is enabled and you are trying to contact the correct URL or not. Because nowadays it is easy for the hackers to, not only for the hackers, people, you can able to create a website and you can host the website with minimum amount of cost. It is nowadays easy. So hosting a website and getting a website URL is not a matter of fact. So anyone can try for getting the URL similar to the original URL by changing one or two alphabets in the URL names. So blindly, if you are trying to some URLs to transact over the internet, you will be end up with losing your money. So we have to know about those kind of email or URL hacking and all. And you may be aware of the salami attacks, where whenever we are doing some online transaction, they are trying to get 0.001 paise per transactions. But for a single user, it's not a big thing, right? But collectively, think of the internet. There are so many transactions are going in and around the world through online. So for every user, if they are collecting one paise per the user, the huge amount of money can be hacked. Okay, but it is not knowing to the particular user or particular bank may not aware of that, because they are working on the decimal digits with the big numbers only. They will check for the differentiation in the account transactions, but the one paise or two paise is not a big amount for them, so they may not aware of that. That kind of attacks also nowadays going on. And sometimes you may be aware of the denial of service attacks. When two of the shopping websites, they are trying to launch some mega sale on a same date. This denial of service is made to make the market over the internet. So they will make the other server down. They will make a unidentified request to the server and make the server dumped, so that the users or customers are not able to contact the particular servers. So that what happens, the customers will defaultly go to the other marketing space where they can get the offers. So these kind of denial of service attacks are nowadays possible with the marketing strategies. So it's for booming their business. And you may be aware of the Trojan horse attacks and the worms and the virus attacks that is affecting the computer hardwares, not only hardwares. Your system programs may be modified and it can affect your entire working of the systems. So these crimes can be categorized into three levels. One is the crime against the individuals, and the crime against the properties, and the crime against the government. So you may be aware of those kind of crimes happening in the cyberspace. So we are focusing only on the four major areas where the cybersecurity can be enforced from a technical part and non-technical part as well. And the types of crimes, first one you can see the email bombing. So there you may be receiving some emails frequently in your spam boxes or in your inbox. You can find so many mails coming. You have won this lottery, and you are this much $1 billion are waiting for you. Kindly provide your informations to claim the prize and all. So those kind of emails, people are tempted to respond to those emails. So what happens? They are collecting the basic informations about their banking credentials, and they try to uh, gain some amount from your bank account without your knowledge. And salami attack, I told, and the data diddling, they are trying to give some business for the other marketing peoples by providing the denial of service attacks. So in keeping engaged with one server, even you may be aware of that. Whenever you are trying to book a ticket for Takkal in IRCTC, those time will be the server find most engaged from morning 10 to 11. So those times the hackers, they will make the server engaged and they will divert the operations to the some specific amount of users. So that can be done with the help of spreading or flooding the unnecessary TCP packets on the internet to the particular server, because they know what is the port number that particular application is running and what is the server that particular application is running. So with the help of those application IP address and port numbers, they are functioning. They can try to block those things for the other users, so that they can get the free space to enter into that particular booking application. They will get the benefit over that. And why people are doing such kind of spreading of viruses and spamming of mails to the people or users? So nowadays you may be aware of that most of the political wars are happening in the online, where we are exchanging the conversations over the social medias to gain the attention of the people. So they are trying to make some unwanted messages to roam around the internet, and they are flooding some unnecessary things, and they are trying to get the attention of the people. And sometimes they may have some companies marketing strategies. They want to make the attack on the other products, and they have the space for the new users and new customers for their new products. And some of the people, even the youngsters, they are having more technical knowledge over the other users. They are trying to influence them, and they want to create some fame in a short period of time. So what they are trying to do is they simply try to hack others informations, and they are exploring them. We have done those kind of things and all. They are making them fame on the social medias. So they make this as a hobby and try to hack the others machine, others data, and everything they are doing as a hobby only. They don't have any other intention. Even they don't know about the crimes behind those things. So unknowingly they are trying to get the fame or attention of other peoples. They are doing this kind of spreading the virus and all. And most of the crimes are based on the financial transactions. So whenever we are trying to do some influence on the other people, we are trying to make money over them. So that's the only thing. Mostly the crimes are happening in the cyberspace. So why the cyber security is more important nowadays? So security is not enforced 100% to all the levels. It's not feasible at all. Security can be enforced, but the thing is, it's not 100% secure ourselves. Even though we are locking our home with a secure system, if the uh, thief is ready to take some valuable things from your house, they are trying in some other way to break your home, and they try in some other way which is not aware of your knowledge. They will get your valuable things away from your home. Likewise, even though if you are protecting our system and your applications protected with softwares and via antiviruses, they will find some other easiest way to crack your systems. Okay, so it is under first ourselves to know about the safety measures, what we have to do to keep away our systems from those kind of hackings and breachings. So nowadays the nation is facing so many issues on the data breaching issues only. You can Google it, data breaching on different MNC companies or the online shopping portals. There are so many data breaches happening. What they will do, the hackers will try to get the data, and they will sometimes what they will do, they will block the particular applications running on the server, so that they can demand some ransom amount from the particular companies to release the particular port number. Okay, they will simply hack the particular port number, and without that port number the customers cannot able to access those websites or the applications. So in the meantime, even if it is hacked for 5 minutes, it will create a big loss for the particular company. So what they will do, they will try to give the money to the particular hacker and they try to resolve the issue. So those kind of issues are happening around the world. Okay. So every day we are spending so much of amount to secure our cyberspace against those kind of attacks. Still, it's happening day by day. The intruders are identifying new techniques, and they try to exploit the things on the internet. And this is some example. Even 1 in 36 mobile phones are having the high risk apps installed in their mobile phones. Nowadays, the people, not only the educated people, not uneducated people also having the Android mobile phones. And they are installing so many applications in their mobile phone without the consent, whether those applications are secure or not. Even as an educated people, we are not aware of such kind of things. We, whenever we are attracted by some game or we are attracted by some other applications in the mobile app store, we try to install them. So without knowing the particular application's genuineness, we are installing those applications inside our mobile phone. And most of the some of the applications, they are running in the background without our knowledge. We don't know about it. So what we are advising is, don't go for any unfamiliar applications to be downloaded in your mobile phone. You may be aware of, even without your knowledge, your camera phone can be hacked by installing some sub applications. So everyone, they can try to get the information from your mobile phone, because for every user, your mobile phone is having the more sensitive and privacy information stored in the particular device. If it is hacked by some other users, what happens? You think of the particular consequences. So don't try with all the applications to be installed, and try to clean up all your applications then and there. You get a original data backup into some genuine servers and all. You can avoid from such kind of risk taken through the particular applications. Usually we talk about security, but we first know about what is safety, how we have to behave against the particular risks and threats. We are having more advanced technologies. So we first aware of how to use those technologies in a perfect way. So we should not give a space the others to enter into our system. If you are giving space for them, they will simply come and get your data. So don't provide such kind of space for others. So first, understand what is the space you have to give to others and what is the thing you can share to the outside world. So the security starts from the personal safety only. Whenever we are aware of the safety measures, then only you can provide the security for your cyberspace. So these are some cybersecurity domains. Nowadays, the cybersecurity professionals are very familiar, and they are making more profits in analyzing the things and applications on the internet. Even nowadays, every websites, they are having the online transaction. They are getting the customers feedback. They are getting the admission inquiries and all. So everything is happening through the web URLs. So every website nowadays having the backend database, and they are having so many information stored in the server. But yeah, the hackers are easily track those codes in the HTML or in the web pages. They try to inject some SQL queries into the website, and they will take all your data without your knowledge. So even creating a website is not a matter of time, but we have to enforce some security mechanisms before hosting them on the internet. Okay. So nowadays there are so many working professionals. They are analyzing your website's strength. They are doing the penetration testing on your website, whether it is possible for the third party user to enter into your web space. They are able to enter into your admin space to alter the things and all. So they are checking. So the penetration testing and the vulnerability testing they are doing. So their responsibility is justified by checking whether the website or the application is having some hole or not. for the hackers. So there are so many working professionals. They are nowadays working on creating the cyber security by some security engineering and the security operations. So these are the so many variety of areas related with the cyber security mechanisms. So before we enter into that, we should know about the CA trial. You may be aware of that. The securities deals with three things. One is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So confidentiality, it restricts the access to the outsiders to enter into your space and get the details. They can able to read your data. If you are allowing them to enter into a space, they are able to read the data. So they will not do any other things, but they know your confidential informations. That is the, you have to ensure whether our informations are stored in a confidential way. And integrity, we should not allow other users to modify the data or some application processing without our knowledge. So think of that. I will give you some example of what is confidentiality, what is integrity, and what is availability. So this availability is major nowadays playing a major role. Whenever you are creating some website or application on the internet, it has to be available for the customers so that they can use your website domain to get their business done. So if it is hacked by the particular denial of service users, you are not available for the customers. You will be losing your profits and business. So regarding the confidentiality, the hackers will steal your credential informations like your username, your passwords, and your credit card informations and all. So they will read the informations from your transactions. So they come and sit in your space. They will watch over your transactions, and they will look for some sensitive informations. They will get it done, get it collected, and they will move on. And they will do some other activities without your knowledge in your credentials. Okay. So we have to protect the informations from such kind of unauthorized access at the top level. In the second level, we have to enforce the integrity. Suppose think of that. My salary is 10,000 rupees defined by my management. Suppose if I am able to enter into the particular system and make one more zero for adding into my payroll, what happens? I will be able to get more salary, 10 times more salary in that, right? So likewise, if I'm going for some online shopping, if I'm able to remove one particular digit from the particular value, I will get a product in a 10% price. Suppose you think of that. There is a price 990 rupees a product cost. If I'm trying to remove the particular value 990 and I'm removing the last digit alone, I can get the product only by paying 99 rupees, right? So the integrity has to be maintained in all the dimensions so that the other intruders cannot able to modify your predefined data. So you have to aware of maintaining the integrity while going with the cyber transactions. And the third one is the availability of your application to the customer. Your customers are more valuable for your business. So all the time you make yourself available in the market so that you can keep your business running on the day. If somebody is hacking your website URL, or sometimes they may try to block your port number, and sometimes they will create some over trafficking on the server so that the real customers are not able to approach your domain. So that time they will demand for some ransom amount to release the particular port or release the particular attacking of TCP packets. So these kind of things can be avoided. So you have to ensure the availability of your application to the particular customers all the time. So no, if you're analyzing some unnecessary traffic are coming from some IP address, some domain informations are trying to flooding some data into your server, you try to stop them at the beginning itself. So that is the responsibility of the particular secure hacking professionals to identify such kind of unnecessary request and keep those things away from your domain server. And here we have to focus on two things. One is threats and vulnerability. Okay. So the threats, they try to modify your system functionalities. They try to hack the functioning of your system, and they take the control to make the particular things happen without your knowledge. And vulnerability deals with the weakness we are providing with our system. So that has to be identified by the professionals or by ourselves. We have to check once before launching the website into the internet domain. So whether we have to check the URL is protected against all kind of such attacks and all. We have to check whether any space is without checking any, even a single programming statement can lead to a big disaster. Okay. In this scenario, I will tell you one thing. In the earlier days of eBay website, they have the number of quantities to be purchased as text boxes, where the users are allowed to enter the quantity values, one or two, three, four, five, six. Where the security breaches happened, whenever I'm trying to enter with the minus value, I'm given with the bill in the zeros. Okay, if I'm purchasing some product for 1,000 rupees and some other products in the -2 quantity with the same 1,000, the total billing comes in the zeros. So without paying any money, I am able to purchase some products from such kind of websites. So nowadays you can able to see such vulnerabilities are avoided by the corporate companies. Nowadays they are checking all the values they are the user is giving us input to the system. They are predefined. You can make use of even the number of quantities you are purchasing. They are giving us a drop down menu. Okay, so even a single value as an given by the input by the user, they are trying to modify the values and they can explore your business and they will run away with some ransom amounts. So what kind of threats we usually face nowadays? If you are using a email or if you are having smart mobile phones, you may be aware of these social engineering scams. We are frequently getting some unwanted emails and the unwanted messages over phone and SMS we are getting. But people are tempted to respond to those messages and mails. So that is known as social engineering scams. And you may be aware of the malicious softwares and ransomware. The main thing is the business email compromise. So while considering the biggest corporates and the institutions, they are trying to compromise the emails of the particular users, and they deviate their originality and they create a fake account on their names and they try to hack those informations from those particular industries or institutional web servers. And fake websites, I told you know the web URLs. Suppose if I'm trying to contact the indianbank.com, so while typing I may type Indian Bank INDIAN. Instead of INDIAN I can type INDAIN. So that leads to some other URL. But if I'm unnoticed that kind of URLs, if I'm entering the login credential to that website, it will leads to some other breaching of data informations, and they will do the online transaction by my credentials without my knowledge in the original URL. So fake websites can be created by many of the hackers nowadays. They will simply change one or two characters in the URL and they try to use those as a, which is looking similar to the original URLs. More people are not aware of that. By changing small letters, one or two letters jumped here and forth, they will create new URLs and they are maintaining the same design so that they give the customers the atmosphere is same. So they are believing that they are working on the same original URL and they are providing their credentials, and after some time they are not able to get into the server. But in the meantime, they will hack your online transaction accounts and do their transactions on behalf of you. So these are the things we may be aware of them. These kind of happens in a mass scale, or sometimes the hackers will focus on some particular institution or some particular group of people, that is known as a spear phishing. And sometimes even they are attacking on the spear phishing, they will not look on the all the transaction done by the people inside the particular space. They will look for the some specific persons which are those are having some high value, high profile in that particular institution. Okay, so that kind of valuing also happening in the reason to phishing attacks. So it mostly on the banking transactions as well as in the business transactions. They are doing this kind of mass scale phishing and all. Even if they are sending thousands of emails to fish this data, at least they are able to get 10 to 15 amount of responses from the users. So think of that. They are broadcasting 1,000 emails as a spam to different emails. They may able to get, because people are not that much aware. They are tempted to the emails and the advertised informations. They are attracted and they are giving the basic informations to them. So they can massively collect those informations and they go for stealing the sensitive things afterwards. So this kind of emails, you may be aware of them. Whenever you are getting some notifications, even nowadays I'm getting some notifications, your mobile recharge validity is expiring today. Even I know I have when I have recharged and when it will be expired and all. So we are frequently getting some notification messages in our mobile and in our emails. So what happens whenever they are making some urgency over the action taken to rectify the accounts, they are enforcing some urgency on the user, and they are trying to collect some useful information. So here the example is to change the password. They are giving some new URL where if you are trying to click on those URLs, you will be redirected to some other web URLs. They will collect those informations and they will go with hacking your account informations. So taking this thing in the social engineering concept, they may happen over phone or even by a SMS or some instant notifications you are getting on your mobile phones, or frequently you may get some spam emails in your inbox. So these things are nowadays it's very frequent, but no one is able to track back them. We are not trying to get back to the backtracking to the particular origin of the particular messages. We are simply, without knowing its originality, people are responding to them. So we have to avoid those kind of messages. We just make them spam and keep away from those messages and emails. And you were aware of the viruses and the spams and logical bombs. They try to install some small piece of code in your mobile phones or in your systems, but they function on their code's responsibility is to execute their function. It may affect the system slowly or immediately, or sometimes on the triggering event happened on the particular system, it will be executed. So those kind of things will affect all your functionalities of your systems. So those are known as logical bombs. It's a small piece of code that is attached with the some applications that is installed along with the particular applications. They will execute it externally, or they will be unknowingly executed by the user. They will exploit your system. And Rosen horse virus, you may be aware of that. Worms also doing their propagation from one system to another system. They are slowly spreading those codes to copy it from one application to another application. So whenever two different applications are integrating, the worms are migrating from one system to another system. So not only through the pen drives, even on the application sharing and application downloading, these kind of worms can be transmitted to other systems as well. So you may be aware of such kind of email worms, where if you are attracted by some emails and you are responding to the emails, they will hack all your address book informations. Whenever you may be aware of that, whenever you are installing some application, they will ask for allow to access your contacts or allow your phone book and all. So they will collect all informations and go by spam spreading those messages to your contacts as well. So not only yourself is affected, your circle also affected by such kind of worms. Uh, Internet worms, zombie, botnet, everything deals with the phishing of some emails and spamming the messages and the denial of service attacks happens in the recent days. And nowadays, whenever you are trying to install or download some applications or softwares from the internet, they are giving some notification of advertisements to get some uh, uh, what you call fabulous advertisements to divert your mind to click on that particular links to enter into the other uh, URLs. They may attract mostly the teenagers. They will attract and they lead to some other URLs by providing the attractive notifications on their inboxes. They are clearly watching what kind of URLs the person is looking for on the internet. So based on that, they will give you some wonderful, attractive notifications to you, try to get your attention, and they lead to some other harmful websites. And the ransomware, I already told, it's a software created to block the access to your system and files. So when you are trying to retrieve the access back, you have to satisfy the demands given by the attackers. So nowadays, most of the attackers, they hack the systems and they try to ask for some ransom amount. And due to this ransomware, 90% of the payments are done by the corporates nowadays. You won't believe that corporates, to regain their access to the particular applications and softwares, they are paying so much of money to the particular hackers. And they are, and even though paying such kind of amounts, they are not getting the service back after the payment. They will be diverted and they will be untrustworthy transactions done, and they are losing their business on the internet. So let me tell you one recent. Sorry for that. So footprinting is one type of action that can access your type of activities you are doing over the systems and in your organization, what kind of uh, process you are maintaining. They will try to hack all informations. They will study all the activities done by your administration and in your system process. Even they will identify which port number you are frequently using and what type of gateways you are having, what kind of firewall setups and the access privileges you are given to your customers and users. So try to give a right permission to the right users. So giving access permission to all levels of customers leads to some disasters. So every time, whenever you are giving the user access privileges, you try to give the admin level privileges and your well-known administrative peoples for some other level of administrative privileges. And for the normal user, you try to restrict the access permissions in the basic level. Okay, that too you ensure with the encryption standards, and you give some predefined genuine URLs and IP addresses you design in your firewall setup, so that you can avoid the external users. They are trying to study your informations on the footprinting basis. And nowadays, you have more number of tools available for scanning the vulnerability in your application or in your systems. They are the simple tools to check whether your code is created with the right thing without breaking by the other intruders and all. They will check your coding vulnerabilities and your URL vulnerability, your website design vulnerabilities and all. They will check and tell you some suggestions so that you can modify your website. So these vulnerabilities, you may be aware of that. Mm, recently, what I heard is this kind of things. I'm giving you the small glance over what you can be attracted on the internet world. You may be given with some kind of attractive offers and the prices you have won, and sometimes they will send the SMS to send the 6-digit passcode that you are receiving in your mobile phone. So whenever we are doing the online transactions, they are sending the six-digit passcode to you, and the hackers are trying to get those six-digit password. And one more thing I will tell you, most of our knowledge regarding the cyberspace is very less. Even I'm sure most of our ATM pins are nowadays having your year of birth, right? It is easy for the people to remember the pin numbers. They are used to give the pin numbers as 1 2 3 4. Just like that they are giving, they can be easily broken by the particular hackers. And when if you are losing your wallet or if you are losing your mobile phone, they will immediately go for cracking your passwords and all. They will try to get those secure informations and do the online transaction, and they will move away. You cannot able to track them back. Okay, so be aware of such kind of things. And there are so many scams are happening in the cyberspace nowadays. They will give you some official messages like spam messages to you by providing you with some URLs which is not trustworthy, and asking you to click on those URL to get something done. And people are unknowingly clicking on that URL diverted to some other scams, and it is most frequently happening. Even on the social media recently, I my Facebook account was duplicated. It's not hacked, but it was duplicated because every information I posted on the social media, they collect, and they create the same Facebook page on their own and try to give the friend request to my circle. So whenever you are getting some friend request who is already in your contact, without knowing their originality, we are simply accepting the friend request on seeing their name and the image on the particular social medias. After that, what happens? You may be aware of that. They will look for some money transactions over it. So even though if you are getting some friend request or some other things, you check for its originality and all, then you admit it. Otherwise, you will end up with losing your money. This was happened to my friend circle. Even though he is very aware of the transactions, so he informed me about those kind of things, and those duplicated page can be removed with the help of the cyber professionals. So with that, I think it's time to wind up the session. So hope I have shared some cyberspace informations to the students. Mm, And let me give you some glance what happened to the recent cyber threats on the internet. So they during the pandemic, they developed some applications just look like an oximeter app, and they trying to steal the mobile data. You may be aware of that. Without any sensor hardware, how your mobile phone will function as a oximeter. But people won't have such kind of technical knowledge behind those applications. So simply they will download the applications and they try to install that, and they will losing their mobile data. Okay. Likewise, there are so many things. Sometimes they may be asking for tracking your OTPs from your SMS by giving you some other unwanted messages. but during the vaccination time, by getting your certifications and all, vaccinated certifications, you share the OTP with us. Likewise, they are trying to do the online transactions in a different way. Even the Netflix reported so much of breaching informations. They are sharing some offers to get the Netflix offer during the pandemic. They are giving free access to the Netflix. So click on the link and all. They reported recently. So likewise, there are so many safety threats they defined in the recent days after COVID. Nowadays, everything is happening online, even our work also. So everything happening. So the hackers are more interested in getting into your informations. They can easily get those things. Their target is not only computers, the information stored in the computers, because computer is a small device where the memory space is very small to store the data, but it can hold more amount of informations in it. So their target is to crack those informations, to get the informations. With that informations, they try to attack all your related links. So these are the various types of cyber crimes happening nowadays. So the identity theft and the online scams, cyber stacking, social engineering, I told, and the flooding attacks, everything is happening in the online cyberspace. But think yourself, you are not a human being in the cyberspace. You are just a part of the internet. Millions of users are there. But we people are thinking that we are the heroes in the internet and we are providing all those informations to the social medias. It's not like that. For the hacker, you are just a piece of number. Okay, just try to keep those numbers and some information secure and safe with you always. Okay, try to restart your applications. Try to change your passwords frequently. Try to migrate from one application. Keep some advice I shared in those things. So you may be aware of the dark web activities nowadays. Okay. So we are only familiar with the 5% of the web applications on the internet. Remaining 95% functionalities and process, we are not aware of that. So it is 90% there is a secure way of transactions happening in the internet, but we cannot sure about the 5% dark websites. Okay, so be aware of those dark webs. So my simple advice is uh, these are the something. So whenever you are making some online transaction, don't prefer go with the public Wi-Fi. So whenever you are using your mobile data, do your online transactions, because if you are using the public Wi-Fi, your data will be stolen by some other people. So be aware of that. Better you try to use your virtual private network, or you try to use your own mobile data. So there are so many incidents reported in the recent days. There are hacking happens. It is not only on the technology to provide the security. It all the interlinked process where people and the process and the technology, they have to combinedly form a wall against those kind of cyber crimes. So it is the organizational and people culture to enforce the safety mechanisms so that we can have the maximum security level at our systems. So with that, we can come to the end of the session. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now this is the time to solve our queries. Students, you can ask your queries now.
I think they are more aware of this kind of cyber crimes and all. But my advice is don't go with the attractive notifications given on the mobile or internet. It will protect against you. So you may not be aware of all the applications are genuine and all. So try to use the mobile in a secure way and web applications in a right thing and at right space, so that you can keep yourself protected against such kind of hacking and fire threading issues. I think if you have any queries, you can post on the chat box as well.
Sir, one question posted in chat box.
Yeah,
How will
how?
firewall enhance cybersecurity?
Yes, actually, firewalls will function on the to packet analyzing. There are different kind of firewalls available. Firewalls usually analyze the traffic on the network layer itself. They will check the incoming packets and their information stored in the particular packets. So they can go for checking whether these packets are coming from the genuine IP address or not. So that only can be recognized by the firewalls. So they can able, even at the transport layer, they can able to identify the port number they are delivering from the source. So which kind of source port numbers they are coming from, they can be checked. And if you are not sure about the particular port numbers, you can block them at the firewall itself. But it is not feasible all the time to check the incoming traffic and all. Sometimes the hackers are doing the keeping the threads at the application layers. So it is not only the network layer and the transport layer secure mechanisms, they cannot able to provide the particular blocking of incoming traffic to your organization. It is the top level organization, top level application layer also. We have to ensure the secure mechanisms are provided to check which kind of applications are coming inside and which kind of applications are going outwards. So firewalls only look on the particular single point of entry only, they will check. So they cannot enforce the security in all the systems. So within the institution or within the domain, there will be a chance for the hackers to enter into the space without the firewall's knowledge. So cybersecurity is not only restricted by the firewalls. Firewalls can keep something away from your internal organizations. That's all. They can restrict the external entries from your organizations, and that can be monitored. But this kind of, whenever you are directly connected with the internet, it is your responsibility to make yourself safe against such cyber attacks. Yes. What are the recent advancements IoT in cyber security? Actually, the recent why the more number of hackings and data breaching happening nowadays are, it's purely the advancement in the Internet of Things coming uh, booming nowadays. So we are attaching more number of devices to the internet, and we are not sure that all the devices connected to the system or connected to the networks are having the secure precautions in the internet. So whenever, even we are having 100 systems connected in your network, and 100 systems are protected with antivirus and relevant softwares and all, you are having a well known firewall in your organization. Even though if you are attaching one more device in your network which is having the hole for the attackers, that will breach all your systems to get control over by the particular hackers. So nowadays in the Internet of Things, we are attaching more amount of devices into the internet. They may breach such kind of secure vulnerabilities to the systems. So IoT is not, it's not giving more advantage. We can ease our operations done, but they are providing space for the hackers to enter into your systems. So whenever you are trying to install some IoT applications in your device, you try to think of the secure mechanisms and the encryption standards attached with the device are enforced or not. So every possible device can lead to the security breaches. So with the advancement of IoT, Nowadays, we are facing more number of cyber crimes happening. So it's time for you to give your feedback on the given link in the chat box. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Any queries from student side? Okay, thank you. It will be a privilege to invite Ms. R. Badma, Assistant Professor